So we're here at Chesmore Homes with Josh Hyde. I'm Betsy Navafotis, Associate Broker of the EXP team, Harvest Real Estate Group. And Josh, we wanted to ask you, Chesmore is just such a beautiful builder, but some of the construction practices across the board with builders vary. So
Yes.
some are a little bit different than others, some more production are building them quicker, faster, kind of
Yeah.
slapping them together. What is Chesmore's practice in construction? Are you pre-engineered walls, or are you doing stick build? What is the process out here?
That's a great
for
question.
Chesmore?
So it'll actually vary with Chesmar from panel and truss engineered to stick build. Depends on where we're building the home, honestly, when we're building the home, and what we're building. I've seen either types of frame used, and like I said, it really just depends. I know in this neighborhood, for instance, we can go back and forth on an almost regular basis, like month on, month off, between panel and truss and stick frame. So I think it's whatever the engineer determines, and something that again not every production builder does is we're engineering the house that we're building every single time. And what I mean by that is it's very common nowadays for a builder to go in and do soil tests in the neighborhood, but to do every other lot or every third lot, a way to save a little bit of time and a little bit of money. Chesmar engineers every single house for the exact piece of soil, the exact piece of land that that house is going to sit on. So they come out, they do the soil test. When they're engineering the foundation plans, if we add a trash can pad, or if we add extended concrete, anything like that off the back porch, they take that into consideration, and it's drawn up on the engineer's plans and the plot plan. That way we have overall positive drainage and slope once the house is completed, with any extra add-ons that we have. So I think at that time when they're engineering that site is when they determine what type of frame system is going to be best for that house. That might be a little bit above my pay grade over here. My construction managers, I trust 100%. These guys are awesome. I honestly, Betsy, could never do what they do. I love my job. I love helping people find the right home, but I could not do what these construction managers do. They are constantly in the field, and it's quality checks and inspections every single step of the way, and they're like a glorified babysitter. They're herding cats out there and making sure that everything is done perfectly, and if it's not, making sure somebody goes back to do it the right way.
And that's so important to hear, because oftentimes here in San Antonio, the soil is very unpredictable. There's a lot of clay, there's a lot of sand, and so sometimes one home right next to the other might not have gotten that same testing, and you'll start to see the foundation do shifting and things like that. So that is so important to hear, because that's prevalent in San Antonio.
It's a massive thing, and especially you can go over to the St. Hedwig area, Adkins area of town, and then be over in Schertz or in Bernie, and you're getting totally different soil types no matter where you're at. So yes, it's extremely important, making sure you're doing it the right way.
That's awesome. Yes, so you were sharing with us about some new construction practices that are making their way into Chesmore's San Antonio community, or just a global aspect of building, and how that's going to be incorporated soon in Chesmore's future. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we are extremely excited. So Chesmore, up until last year, we were a small Texas-bred boy. We worked in all of our Texas markets. We did extremely well. We were actually one of the top privately held builders up until last year. Now we're part of the Sekisui House family, and so we're part of the largest home building network in the world. Now with the acquisition of Chesmar and Richmond American, Sekisui House is actually the 5th largest builder in America now. So we're growing a presence here with Sekisui, and the technologies, the processes that they use to build homes back in Japan is just, it's next level. We don't even understand how they do it over there. And so because we can't just jump right into it and build homes how they are building them in Japan, they're actively sending all of our construction managers, all of our warranty team through extra training courses, extra safety courses, and just learning new tricks and trades a little bit so that we can start to incorporate some of those building techniques. It's almost, to dumb it down to as ridiculous as you possibly could. It's almost like, reminds me of being a kid playing with the Lincoln Logs and stuff, and like the Legos or Tinker Toys. It's, you put 2 pieces of wood together and then they're there. So they're not putting a frame together on site and nailing 2 pieces of wood together. One piece will already have a bolt into it, the other piece will have the hole in it, and they literally come together like a puzzle piece. But the way that they build them, it saves time, it saves money, and somehow, even though they're doing those two things, it's more structurally sound than anything that any builder around here could imagine building. I wish I knew more about the way that they actually make it happen, but we're learning, and we're super excited to start to see some of that Japanese technology integrated over here in the U.S.
That's awesome. So what is your building process now? You mentioned that you are able to build from the bottom up, selecting your home site, selecting your plan, and going through that process. Tell us a little bit about your design process in that.
I'm glad that you asked that, because we're very proud of Chesmar is, well, one of the only builders that I'm aware of that still has their design center here on site. So we have two models here in Stillwater Ranch. In my single-story model next door, the entire garage is filled with floor tiles, luxury vinyl plank, backsplash, countertops, cabinets, anything you could think of that goes into building a beautiful Chesmar home. So when a client comes into Chesmar and they find the right floor plan, they see the base price of the home, they pick the lot, and then we can go into the design center and completely design their house from start to finish so that the client knows exactly what their final price will be. Just saying that by itself might not be that powerful, but I'm sure you're aware of this, but just so everybody else that's watching this is aware, most of the builders that you go to nowadays, first off, you're walking into a model home that has $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 worth of upgrades into it. So you don't know what the difference is between the base price and what it actually costs to make your home look like the model home. We took a different approach from the very beginning. We've designed our homes and our base pricing and our entire company so that you can duplicate the look and the feel of the model home within reason of the base price. We want to be more transparent with our pricing. So instead of walking into the model, finding the floor plan you love, seeing the base price, and then starting the process a week later going to a third-party design center where most of the time the folks in that design center are paid commission based off of how much you upgrade your home. Yeah, exactly. So you're just running your price up, whereas at Chesmar, you can come here, pick your house, go to the design center next door, and design your house before you have to put any earnest money down, before you have to sign a contract and get bought into the process. So our clients know 100% that it's a sound, good decision for them before we ask them to move forward.
Wow, that is awesome, because now a lot of homes you walk in and what you see is what you get. That's, there's no selections, there's no changes that you can make to it. Do you have that process where you can actually do some changes structurally? Like, let's say if they need to open a door in one place, or maybe 100%. They needed, an additional flat work or things like that.
Yeah. So we are, and I say this sparingly, we're the most customizable production builder that's out there right now. So I always tell the realtor partners that I'm working with, or any friends and family, if somebody's wanting to truly build a home and they don't want to spend $1 million with a custom builder, we are the solution, because we can customize the home enough to move walls around. We have our own engineering team, we have our own purchasing department, and our own architect here in San Antonio. So if we need to get a little bit creative and change a floor plan to fit one of our family's needs, yes, of course, we're going to be able to do that for them. Now, within reason, we don't want to completely change the outlay of a house, but yes, if we need to make some modifications and some amendments to fit the family's needs, we definitely have the flexibility to do that.
That's awesome. I'm going to ask you one question about Stillwater Ranch. So you are surrounded actually by nature. So out here we have Government Canyon. It's a state natural area. It has one of the oldest dinosaur tracks here in South Texas.
That is so cool.
And then of course the Stillwater community has multiple amenity centers. Tell us a little bit about the two centers that you guys have here. What do they have to offer? I know we're really excited about some of those new features.
Yes, ma'am. So we have, we call it our community center, but there's one right down the street from us here that has a pool, the playground, the barbecue pits. There's an open field. That's where, usually on the weekends you see kids out there throwing a ball, playing sports, or you'll see the guys out there with the cornhole board set up and just playing games. It's just a little great field, as they call it. Then further into the community, you have the original amenity center, the big boy. You've got tennis courts, basketball courts, and pickleball courts, all lighted so they stay open pretty late. You have an indoor workout facility that's open till 11 o'clock every day. The gym looks out over onto the pool, so it's just really nice. There's an Olympic-sized swimming pool there that has the gradient beach entry to it. Awesome. And then, of course, the playground and all that good stuff. And then that's the big amenity center where once a week they bring out the food trucks and do the little block parties and stuff like that. And then beyond just the amenity centers themselves, you also have on the back of Stillwater a little pond out there. I've seen people out there with fishing poles, Betsy, but I don't think they're catching anything. You see the ducks, yes. It's just a nice spot. You can go walk along, see the little ducks, and then there's actually a nature trail right there that leads into one of the walking trails that we have. There's about 3 miles of manicured walking trails that go through Stillwater, and it's beautiful. Considering that you're right off of Calabria Road, yeah, the nature aspect of this community, keeping everything green, is it's very impressive, honestly.
And one thing people might not realize is that you actually have an elementary school on site. And you also have a high school here on site.
Yes, we sure do.
And you have a middle school just across the road.
Right across the street, yes.
Everything is so convenient here.
Yes, ma'am.
Go Wildcats. Sotomayor.
Go Wildcats.
And we'll probably end up going to high school. But yeah, it's grown so much. I've been in this area for almost 20 years where there was nothing here.
You see a
lot of cows and the noise, and we've seen a lot of change, but it's been good change.
Yes,
it's been homes that have actually brought the value of the neighborhoods up.
Yes.
And Chessmore has done such a great job. Just love some of the plans that you guys have.
Oh, we appreciate that.
So Josh, tell us a little bit about your nonprofit, your charitable events that you have been participating in, because that's important. People don't realize, right, how much of a contribution you make to your community in that aspect. So tell us a little bit what you're doing.
It's honestly one of the biggest things that I love about Chesmar. It's not like ever a forced thing, where management comes out and says, hey, we're going to do this. It's just, we have actually a committee in every division that signs us up for and partakes in charity events. And we do, so to give you an idea, the one that we just finished yesterday, we had a gal working with us for years. Her name was Rosie. She was part of the Chesmar family for a long time. And she actually passed away with COVID a couple of years ago. Something that was super close to her heart was the Battered Women's and Children's Shelter of San Antonio. So when Rosie passed, out of honor of her, we started the Rosie's Club. And so we, on a, I think, biannual basis, go and support the Battered Women's and Children's Shelter. What we did yesterday was, so Rosie's birthday was in May, and every month at the shelters they do monthly birthday parties. So anybody who has a birthday in May will go up. We did a Willy Wonka theme, and so we came out. I was freaking Willy Wonka himself, and I had the cane and everything, and we just did a birthday party for these kids, and we had them singing and dancing and playing games, and we did a donut bar, and they were just, I mean, it's charity. It's the most rewarding thing that you could do, right? It was just very, just special, It was great, and so we do things like that for the Battered and Women's Children's Shelter regularly out of honor of Rosie. We build houses for Habitat for Humanity, I think, almost on a regular basis. We just did one at the end of last year for a gal here in San Antonio, and that was a lot of fun. Literally just all the employees from Chesmar taking turns and going out and building the home ourselves. So instead of sitting in the office all day and helping people, purchase their homes, we were out building one. It was a little bit different. But it was really great. And then around Christmas, we do a huge toy drive, and we give to the orphanages around San Antonio. Kind of depends on where we're at in that year, but last year I think was St. PJ's Orphanage of San Antonio, the Children's Orphanage of San Antonio. Whatever we can do to try to bring a little bit of joy around holiday times to kids. We also do, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's another Christmas event. Every year we do Christmas parties for underprivileged families here in San Antonio. I think the way that it works is they pick a inner city school that basically the families need some help there, and so we'll get a list of kids and we'll get their letter to Santa, and then we get all their presents and stuff together, and then we throw a party for them and do the Thanksgiving dinners and all that good stuff. Throughout the year, I think we're actually getting ready for our MS bike ride, which is 100-something miles. Like, it's a crazy bike ride that we do for MS. Basically, to give you an idea, anybody at Chesmar who's ever gone through something or dealt with something, or their family members dealt with something, whether that be a disease or sickness or whatever that is, we find the charities that help those causes, and we dive in as much as we can as a company. And it's really cool, not just in San Antonio too, but to see, when we go to our annual meetings in Houston, and it's all of the divisions of Chesmar. Yes, they talk about stats and closed homes and all that good stuff, but they also make it a point to talk about what each division did for charity, and it's some crazy results that you see across the board. Just a lot of people making a difference for a lot of people. It's massive for us.
It's important. It's
Yes,
important because as we are providers in the community, we are also members of the community.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah,
that.
of
That's
course.
awesome. And
Of
what
course.
an honor to pay tribute to Rosie in that way. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
All right, let's talk Chesmar being a hero.
Okay.
Success stories. You, Josh,
Yeah.
give me a success story that either has to do with Chesmar or that has happened just within yourself and a buyer.
Man, honestly, and this might sound kind of cheesy, but my biggest success story so far is actually becoming a part of the Chesmar family. It was a battle for me to get here. Chesmar's a very tight-knit family, you know, so it's not very often that they hire new people because nobody ever leaves. So my father-in-law has been part of the Chesmar family for about 15 years now. So I've always heard all the good things about Chesmar. I've got to see them go on the group parties and the company trips and all the fun stuff that they do. But I've never actually got to be a part of it. And then I was working for another builder. My father-in-law said, "Hey, come join the family," about 2 years ago. And man, I haven't looked back since. I'm 29 years old, Jose, but I tell a lot of my clients, my family knows this, I found the builder that I will retire with. And I know it's almost crazy to say that at such a young age, but I've worked for other builders, and I'm where I'm where I'm supposed to be at. You know, they make my job too easy to ever go anywhere else. The company is just, it's great on multiple levels, and so I think becoming part of this family is probably my biggest success story yet.
That's awesome.
I was able to help over 30 families find home last year, so that was a huge success for me. The first-time home buyers is always
So
a
special.
huge thing
So
to help
special.
out with. Yes.
Let me ask you this real
yeah.
quick then. On top of serving 30 families
Yeah.
is wonderful. If they could say something about you, Josh, what would it be?
It probably boils down to I'm just a person. I treat people as I would want to be treated. I had a horrible home buying experience with new construction about 7 years ago, and that's been a huge catalyst in my career. So talking to my people, and if you go and look at my reviews, it really boils down to being genuine and authentic.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to sell anybody a home, Jose. I'm here to help somebody find their home.
That's
And
right.
if that's not with me in this neighborhood, then it's not with me. We shake hands, we part as friends. I'm never going to put any pressure on somebody to make a decision because this is a huge decision. And of course, I'd love to earn more families' business, but if it's not the right fit, then it's not the right fit, man.
Right.
So it really boils down to just listening to what the client needs, seeing if we have an option for them, and trying our best to make it happen. And I think if you talk to most of my clients, the thing that they appreciate most about me is my authenticity and just being a genuine person and not treating them like a number or something like that, you know, just being real.
Absolutely. It's always the client over commission.
Amen, brother.
But what I've heard, everything you just said, I feel like you are the embodiment of Chesmar.
Man.
And so everything that we've talked about, and I hope everybody's watched all of these videos, you embody Chesmar. The genuineness, the authenticity, the grit, right? The fight to either there's a first-time home buyer or a fifth-time home buyer.
Yeah.
You're there for them.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. All right, we're just going to close this out with one final question. What is your vision for the company in the next 5 to 10 years?
I wish I could capture it all in this little brain of mine, Jose, but we are...
Same.
So Chesmar, as great of a builder as we are, we've been a small builder, relatively speaking, with these huge national builders up until now. With the merger with Sekisui House and us being part of that home building network, we are going to see things escalate to a new level now. And we're so excited for it with implementing some new floor plans, implementing new building styles and techniques, and just growing overall. I think next year we've got 5 new communities coming up. So over the next 5 to 10 years, I wish I could picture what the overall vision looks like for Chesmar. But Jose, there's going to be so much stuff going on over the next just 2 to 3 years alone, man. I can tell you that we are extremely excited to be able to provide Chesmar homes to more families in the areas that we serve. You'll see it on almost every wall in our corporate office. Everybody deserves a Chesmar home, and we truly believe that. So if we can capitalize more of the market to where people shopping in the $300,000 price point don't have to be subject to inferior builders, and they can buy a Chesmar home and get treated like family, that's our goal, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I commend Chesmar because they are a wonderful builder.
Thank
So
you.
what I heard from there was, vision is there's hope.
Yeah.
It's bright. It's prominent. It's prosperous. And it
Yes.
looks like it's to be for everybody.
Yes.
So,
yes.
man, thank you so much for doing the interview.
Yeah,
We're
thank
very
you,
grateful. If you have any questions, let us know, and we're out.
Awesome.
Yep.